Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So, first of all, this is going to be late because it's taken a few days to put this thing together. Also, I'm not sure about how my throat's going to stand up, so I brought some water. I'm using my older computer here because the new one takes a little bit too long to upload. I want to get it up there by noon tomorrow. Anyways, we're here for an episode of Favorites. This is a show I put on every Wednesday night in which I have a topic, usually a top 5 or a top 10 or maybe a top 25 or maybe an album ranking or a song ranking of some kind. Anyways, today we're doing a 25, so decided to do something a little bit different. So I have done in the past my favorite 25 bands of this century, but this time I wanted to go a little bit further back to cover some of those bands that weren't getting in as the classics because I had too many classic bands and didn't qualify for this century, but they definitely should be noticed. So we're doing my 25 favorite bands that came out since 1975. So they avoid that kind of classic period for me, which goes from probably the late 60s through to the mid 80s when I first moved out in 1985. So I decided I would start in 1985 because that's the year I moved out. And I was going to do my 25 favorite bands since 1985. So it wasn't particularly hard, although at the bottom half there was a lot of bands that were kind of stacked together. So as you know, what I generally do is I list them from my least favorite to my most favorite, or worst to first, or in this case 25th to first. So that's what I've done here. But the bottom stack, probably, if I'm looking at it realistically, probably from about the halfway point, so maybe 12 or so, 11, 12 or so, those ones from there down, they could probably all pretty much move around on any given day because they're all still relatively new. A lot of them I don't own any albums from, some of them I do, but haven't listened to them much. Only the top half I've had a little bit more experience with, so that's why they made it there. So, and I have props for quite a few, but not all of them. So I'm going to try to give you the props when I have them. So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. So the first band is, in the 25th spot, is going to be Hellripper. This is a Scottish metal band formed in about 2014 or so. And so they've been around, about 11 years or so. So I just decided they got to get on the list somewhere, so I put them here in the 25th spot. The next one up is a band that I have listened to a few of their albums at different occasions, also seen quite a few videos on them, and it's an American kind of prog band called Echolan, or Echolan if you want. They've been around for a fairly lengthy time. This is one of the bands that made me want to do the 1985 on, and they've been around since 1989. Lots of good stuff by them, though. This is a band that I definitely want to get more of theirs, or I would like to get into their stuff, but they're not easy to find from where I am, from my location, unless I want to order online. So I try to avoid the ordering online because, first of all, it's expensive, and second of all, it doesn't always show up in a timely fashion. And I don't like to give these big companies any more money than they already have. So next up is a band, another metal band from the US this time, from out in California way, called Bad Wolves. Came out in 2017, so not too long ago, maybe about 8 years ago. So they're number 23. Number 22 is another metal band, a little bit older, going back to 2006. They're actually Canadian. I like to give Canadians a little bit. And they're called Skullfist. Pretty solid metal band, I think. I definitely like these guys quite a bit. Next up is a band that I've only just recently got into, maybe in the last year or so. I like what I'm hearing a lot. I've had a hard time getting this album, even though I've been looking at it and trying to buy it and stuff like that. But either The CD version's not available, or nobody's selling it at the moment. So I'll wait until my time comes. This is an Italian band called Ellesmere. Came out in 2014. 2000. So the next up, number 20, is an American band. Initially sounded quite a bit like the kind of Kashmir version of Led Zeppelin. They've evolved from that sound since then, but I haven't got any of their new albums. Although I did see one. I came close to buying it, but bought something else instead. And this is Greta Van Fleet. Came out in 2012. Next up is a Swedish band who I really like a lot. Had a hard time finding their stuff to purchase, but I have listened to their stuff online a couple times and was actually quite taken with their abilities. And this is Engelgard from 1991, a Swedish band. Next up, another metal band. This one, a female-led vocalist, band called Cellar Darling. They are a Swiss band. Came out in 2016. I did a episode on them earlier. Quite a good band. Next up is the first one where I actually have a prop. This is Ladytron. Now, this is not the album that I initially did something on, but I do like this quite a bit. This is a band from 1989. So they've been around for a while. Actually, sorry, 1999. So they've been around for quite a while. English band, of course. Pretty much a techno kind of electronic pop band, if you want to call them that. I like them a lot. They're very easy to listen to, and I can just sit there and listen and not really get too much of brain power going on. Next up is a super band, although, super band, members of Porcupine Tree here, Marillion, Dream Theater. This is a band called Transatlantic from 1999 as well. Solid band. A band that I've seen their the CDs at the place I go, but they're always a little bit more pricey than I want to pay, and for that money I always find something I'd rather have. But I still like them. I think they're a pretty solid band. Next up is Raven's Age. Or the Raven Age, which is a metal band, a British metal band, with one of the members is the son of Steve Harris of Iron Maiden. So yeah, another really solid band from 2009. Next up is, he's basically a solo artist, but he calls himself Dark Cluster. So he does everything on it, one guy. From 2020. I've listened to all of his stuff up to date. I haven't bought any of it because it's difficult to get it in CD. And he's also Canadian. But funny though, you got to order it internationally to get it. So go figure. Next up is a band called is a doom metal band from the USA, which I like a lot. They are called Silver Tomb. Released their first album back in Actually, I think they formed in 2017. So pretty strong band for me. This is a band whose stuff I want to get. Next up is a band most people will know from 1990, Big Train. Yeah, I especially like that original vocalist a lot. Very fantastic sound to his voice. Very Gabriel sounding in his vocals. So yeah, a band that I will be getting stuff from and following quite a bit when the chance comes. Next one up, I have a couple of these guys' albums. I haven't really gotten into them as much as I thought I would, but I find their music really good, but I just, for whatever reason, I don't pick them up to follow them much, even though I've got 2 or 3 of their albums. The one I have here is this one, which is Scenes from a Memory from Dream Theater, of course. That's the band we're talking about here. They're number 11 from 1985, so right at the cusp of that time period when I started this. Next up is a band who I have a live video of, but I have none of their albums, although I've tried to order a few. It just hasn't worked out. They're a Finnish band called Overhead. Really good stuff. The live album, the live DVD I have is really exceptional, I think. So they're from 1980, no, 1999, sorry, a Finnish band. I forgot to mention that part too. Next up is a band who I did order an album online. It cost me a little bit of a penny, but I do like it. Drifting Sun, and this is the Veil album, their most recent release. They are coming here at number 9 from the early 1990s, this band. Next up is a band most people will know, and I have listened to a few of their things. I came close to buying an album and ended up buying something instead, but I think this is a band I will follow quite a bit. This band came out in 1992 called Spock's Beard. Next up is a band from the same kind of time period, a little bit earlier, 1987, an American progressive rock band. Most people know these guys, Porcupine Tree. This is Wilson's album as well. So I like them quite a bit as well. I do have 3 of their albums. I've listened to them all, but I haven't really put any in my playlist yet, so it might take a while for them to really take off. Next up, number 6. This is a band. I like this album cover a lot, and the music is good. Their albums tend to be a bit pricey at the store, so I can get a couple of other ones I'd rather have, so I get those instead. But the Flower Kings are this band. They're a Swedish band, if I stand corrected. Very Yes-like in their sounds, from 1999, I believe. Or maybe it's a little bit earlier, but I think it's 99. So the Flower Kings here at number 6. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty here, the top 5. I think these top 5 pretty easily were top 5. So the number 5 one is Amorphous Androgynous. They do have other stuff. They also go under the name The Future Sound of London. Been around since 93, and they're English, of course. So the particular one, I like this a lot, despite the fact that Peter Hamill's singing. They seem to know how to use his vocals, though, so I did enjoy this a lot. They have some other stuff that I've been trying to get into, but I didn't realize that they had that second name, so I'll be looking a little bit closer now. So number 5, Amorphous Androgynous. Number 4, The Chronicles of Father Robin. So there are 3 of them here. They've been around since 93, although they did not release any of their albums for almost 30 years. They've been working on this project. Well worth the effort. All 3 albums are good. This one's currently in my playlist, the number 1 album currently in my playlist. This is a band that if they were to put out more stuff, they are most likely going to be my favorite band at some point from the new stuff. But this, for today, they're number 4, and they're Norwegian as well. So next up is a Polish band. I bought, this is the first album I bought by them. I've been looking at other stuff as well. This is Riverside, and this is Identity. ID Entity, sorry. I always want to say Identity, but it's ID Entity. Kind of different type of what I would call kind of sporadic type painting, type drawing, but really good music. It's exceptional. A lot of kind of rushy sound to some of their music as well, and that's part of the reason why I like them so much. So they come in at number 3. Number 2 is the Tea Party, Canadian band. Most of that is on the strength of that one album. The other 3 albums, they're okay, but I like that one album quite a bit, and so they get up there based on that. Pretty much have about 4 of their albums, but strong band, number 2. And number 1 was number 1 by quite a bit, and that's Wobbler. This is their debut album, but I currently have one in my playlist and one waiting for its turn in my playlist and one on the shelf waiting for me to listen to. Yeah, I like these guys a lot. They are going to be my number 1 band of the bands that I started listening to from 1985 onward. So I'll give you them in reverse order, just in case some people like to keep track of those kind of things. So Wobbler, number 1. The Tea Party, number 2. Riverside, number 3. The Chronicles of Father Robin, number 4. Number 5, Amorphous Androgynous. Number 6, The Flower Kings. Number 7, Porcupine Tree. Number 8 is Spock's Beard. Number 9 is Drifting Sun. Number 10 is Overhead. Number 11 is Dream Theater. Number 12, Big Big Train. Number 13 is Silver Tomb. Number 14 is Dark Cluster. Number 15 is The Raven's Age. Number 16, Transatlantic. Number 17 is Lady Tron. Number 18 is Cellar Darling. Number 19, Engelgard. Number 20, Greta Van Fleet. Number 21, Ellesmere. Number 22, Skullfist. Number 23, Bad Wolves. Number 24, Ekelin. And number 25, Hellripper. A lot of the stuff, like I said, from about Dream Theater down, or Big Big Train down, could all flip around. All it requires is to get a few albums by one band or another, and it can just take right off. And it's just basically that. That's what holds them back, is me purchasing their albums, because that's how I listen to my music. So I don't listen much to stuff online unless I'm doing it for a specific reason. So there you have it. Those are my 25 favorite bands that came out from 1985 and upward. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It was a bit fun to do. I hope if you want, you can put your 25 in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Those help the channel a lot. And if you want to be notified of the next episode, you can hit the notification bell. I will be back, I'll be back tomorrow morning with another episode from the series. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and we will see you then. Take care and have yourself a good evening. Goodbye.